Alright, how's it going everyone? It's here, the Dawning, best event in Destiny, and it's not even close. The tower, it's just back to being majestic. You've got lights everywhere, snow, this awesome tree. I just love it. Dealing with the witness is just gonna have to wait. We've got cookies to bake, so let's get right into it. This event is almost identical to last year's Dawning, but we do have a few new things to go for. We've got a new Arc Glaive joining the Dawning weapon family, and all of the previous Dawning weapons are back again, of course with updated perk pools, so you do have some stuff to grind for if any of that stuff looks good to you. And don't worry, I'll be giving my recommendations for every weapon a little bit later in this video. So how does this event work? Well, if you're new to the Dawning, it all comes down to baking cookies for each of the NPCs. Each NPC has a specific cookie that you can bake for them, and giving them cookies will get you a gift in return in the form of Dawning Spirit or with an actual gift that just goes to your inventory. Opening up these gifts will get you basic currencies like cores and glimmer, or if you're like me, you will save those gifts for something a little bit later that I'll talk about in a sec. So Eva will get you a quest called Cookie Delivery Helper that will guide you through every available recipe for all the NPCs, and as you bake new cookies, those recipes will be saved in your oven screen, so you're not going to have to remember which NPC likes which cookie or anything like that. It's all very easy, and each ingredient's drop location is also on the same screen, which makes it very easy again to know exactly what you need to do. And as far as the cookie baking formula goes, it's always pretty similar. You have one ingredient that will drop from enemies, one ingredient that will drop by getting kills a certain way, and 15 Essence of Dawning. You'll get Essence of Dawning by completing just about any activity and by doing weekly Dawning bounties. And also, once you bake and deliver every kind of cookie, you will have the option to masterwork your oven, which will lower the Essence of Dawning cost from 15 down to 10, basically giving you a 33% discount on every cookie baked. Once you bake and deliver every cookie type one time, thankfully you're not going to have to worry about baking cookies for specific vendors after that. You can just play the game, acquire every ingredient naturally, and bake cookies for whoever you like best, pretty much. So that's all the cookie baking stuff, but we do have other stuff to cover as well. There's another currency called Dawning Spirit, which is acquired by completing bounties and event challenges. You can also equip the Starfarer 7M ship to occasionally generate Dawning Spirit whenever you get ingredients to drop, which I'm reading now, you can apparently get this ship right now from Eva's inventory for pretty cheap. It's 1000% worth it. You should have this equipped for the entire duration of the Dawning. On average, I was getting 5 Dawning Spirit for every Vanguard strike I ran, and I did this without even really trying. So you might be asking, all right, well, what is Dawning Spirit used for? Well, it's used for two things. The first thing is it will unlock upgrades at Eva. The top row of these blue upgrades here are all for weapon focusing, and the final 2 upgrades here will actually get you a chance to get weapons focused with double traits in both columns. So yeah, you definitely want to spend your Dawning Spirit on this. The bottom row will upgrade the snowballs that you can find in the open world destinations or Vanguard strikes. These are just fun additions to the PvE environment. And if you want to complete the Dawning title or guild it, you want to get every challenge done, you will have to buy every one of these upgrades, so just plan on doing that. But at the rate that you get Dawning Spirit from the Starfarer 7M ship, and by just doing your bounties normally, you should have plenty of time to get this done. So I mentioned there was 2 things you can do with Dawning Spirit. The second thing is weapon focusing. Once you've unlocked the gift wrapped exchange and the limited exchange upgrades, you can also use your Dawning Spirit for Dawning weapon focusing. And earlier I had talked about those gifts in return that you get. This is where I would use those, because you need those gifts to focus weapons. The only hurdle you'll have to cross to be able to focus these weapons is get upgrades from Eva. It's not too many that you need, so I mean, you should be able to knock this out in a couple hours, no problem. But even when you get those upgrades, I would still just hold off. Wait until you get all the upgrades before doing any weapon focusing. It's going to be the best bang for your buck in terms of Dawning Spirit spending. Because remember, you do want to get those weapons with double perks in each column. Alright, let's go over some fun stuff now with the new and reprised Dawning weapons. Each one of these Dawning weapons comes with an origin trait called Dawning Surprise. It just says that rapidly defeating targets awards a Dawning gift. It's like a tiny purple box that you'll see on the ground. Defeating powerful targets will count as more than one. So picking up these Dawning gifts will grant you 10% grenade, melee, and class ability energy. It restores 20 HP and starts health regeneration. So this is actually a pretty decent origin trait. You just want to make sure you're picking up those purple boxes boxes when you see them on the ground. But as far as the weapons go, we first have the new arc glaive called the Albedo Wing. Glaives just are not super exciting for me, but if I was to get one, I would go for Grave Robber or Beacon Rounds with close to melee. That's kind of the best role that I can see here. I really do wish glaives were just in a better spot, which has pretty much been the sentiment of glaives since they were released 2 years ago. Stay Frosty was last year's new Dawning weapon, and it had some decent roles for PvP on it. This year has a very similar trait pool, so most likely if you got your god roll last year, you can just skip grinding for this one altogether this year. But for the left column, we've got a lot of similar traits for PvP, so just pick whichever one you like best in Crucible, where again, this weapon really is designed to be used in. For the right column, I like Desperado since it really can do a lot for you once you can get it going, but Kill Clip is also a good choice. For Zephyr, it's the adaptive Stasis Sword. Go with Relentless Strikes and Cold Steel. This is the only weapon in the game with the Cold Steel trait, which is basically Chill Clip, but on a sword. So it's the only one in the game, you might as well go for it. Glacioclasm, everyone's favorite Crucible high impact Void fusion rifle, is back with some PvE traits this year, which is actually good. I feel like Void fusions in PvE have been kind of lacking lately, so I do like this addition. The PvE role I'd consider is Overflow and Controlled Burst or Reservoir Burst. Both Controlled and Reservoir are good, it just depends on whatever you like best. Personally, I like Controlled Burst when doing boss damage if my heavy weapon is out of ammo. Cold Front, the aggressive frame SMG, has typically been straight garbage every single year, so let's see what it brings us this year. Yeah, still garbage, in my opinion. 7 base stability with really no awesome trait combos leaves a lot to be desired here. But if I had to just pick something, I'd say maybe go with Subsistence and Frenzy. But even then, this thing just sucks, in my opinion. And saving the best for last, we have the Avalanche Solar Adaptive LMG. This has a lot going for it, and I always just love when this weapon gets reprised. You can't go wrong with Rewind Rounds and Incandescent. That combo on that weapon is what I make sure I'm going to get out of this event. But Rewind Target Lock could be interesting as well if you're dealing sustained damage to a champion or a boss. Alright, moving on. Just like Festival of the Lost this year, we get a new Icy Rime Keepsake that definitely looks awesome. It's got this animated blue texture on certain parts of weapons as well. Here's a few examples of what it looks like on different weapons. You can get more than one of these mementos during this event, and to get it into your loot pool, you'll need to complete Eva's Winter Night quest that you get pretty much right when you talk to Eva for the first time. All you'll have to do is get 75 snowball kills and 25 upgraded snowball kills. Remember those upgrades that we get from Eva. Thankfully, you don't have to buy every snowball upgrade for this to count. You just need the first 3, so you should be able to get to this point pretty quickly, like a couple hours. So go get your snowball kills, bake her a cookie, and you'll get your first memento. I've read that you can get more of these mementos from opening up those gifts in return, but I haven't tested it out yet. I would assume that these also drop from those Dawning engrams. So if you've seen anywhere else that these have dropped, just let me know down in the comments. I will pin your comment. Most important thing here is that unfortunately you can only hold one of every memento at a time, meaning that you will be forced to put the memento on a weapon if you want more of them to drop for you. Slotting in a memento is done at the crafting table at the Enclave. It's very easy to do, and keep in mind too that your weapon will have to be level 30 to get access to actually equipping that memento. Lastly, of course, just like every other event, the store is always full of new and shiny stuff. You can buy what you want, of course, for silver, but use your Bright Dust if you can. Hopefully you have some saved. A lot of the stuff that you see that says silver only right now will be rotated into the Bright Dust section every week, so make sure to complete those seasonal challenges to stock up on as much Bright Dust as you can. You can also get a good amount of Bright Dust from doing Dawning bounties on every character, and if you really want even more Bright Dust, you can run the repeatable Dawning bounties for I think 20 for each one. I always like the look of the Dawning armor sets. This here looks really sick. It might seem kind of steep for 6,000 Bright Dust, which I guess it is, but with enough consistent playtime, it's actually not that difficult to save up for. But alright everyone, I hope you all enjoy the Dawning. Let me know if you have any questions on any of this stuff. I might come out with one more video this week, but next week I will be streaming the exotic mission, which I'm really excited for. That new strand bow looks awesome. But that is it for this one. I will see you all in the Discord or the next video.